Okay, first things first, do not let these screencasts intimidate you or overwhelm you or make you feel anything other than comfortable with the pace of how our class goes. If you have any questions about what's due or where to put something, just send me an email as long as you've looked everywhere beforehand. That's important to me. So let's see, week one, we'll get the hang of this. Tuesdays will be our big due dates most of the time. 9 a.m. Tuesdays will be when I get to my office and start to go through your assignments. So I want to give you as much time as possible to prepare that work. So a lot of professors have stuff due at like midnight, Sunday night. I'm not going to start grading things 12:01 Monday morning. So why not let you, if you're a night owl, that gives you much more time to prepare your materials. I'm a morning person. If it were up to me, I would probably make the due dates like 6 a.m. Or even earlier so that, since I'm an early bird, I could get to them. But I think this is a nice middle ground for us to arrive at. So preparatory materials, I have an overview of college composition. It is just more or less a glorified blog on Medium. And it just gives you sort of the ins and outs. I think a lot of this will be second nature to you already because you're digital natives. You probably are, if you haven't taken an online class yet, I bet this isn't the only online class you're taking this semester. When it gets into issues of plagiarism, we'll have stuff to say about that later on. I do expect you to put some formality into emailing me. When you contact me, you will do so in a sort of a thoughtful way. At least I hope. You will get an answer from me if you haven't. So we'll have sort of four major essays: the timed essay, a meaningful place, or a place I call home, trends and causes, essay 3, and then the two bigger projects are the collaborative essay, which we'll do at the end of the semester, which is just what it sounds like. You will collaborate with other people to write an essay. And then the big chunk of our course is going to be spent working on the research project. Some piece of writing, it's going to be an argument that you will develop over at least 5 pages, hopefully a lot more than that. And you will, guess what, you'll utilize research in the pursuit of that assignment. You'll do a reflective essay at the end of the semester that sort of takes a long view of what you've gotten better at, what you're still hoping to master as a writer and as a student. You will look at each other's work I skipped over that. You will look over each other's work. It's called peer review. You'll look at other people's essays and give them feedback. You will do some reader responses. You have one due this week. More about that in a moment. So let's see. Late work. There can be no late work. So because everything is sort of paperless and synchronous, I can access anything anytime I want. Do we have to have a talk about online behavior? I really hope not. Let's see, attendance and participation, same thing as late work. If you don't turn in work, you're not going to get a passing grade. You're not going to get anything but a 0 for things you don't turn in. So the way that attendance kind of comes to bear on your grades is going to be, it's going to be expedited pretty quickly if you're not turning work in. If you do that, I hope you'll just drop the class. All right, you can read all this on your own. We're capable of reading. So let's see, my writerly preferences. This is another screencast that I'm going to ask you to watch, and it is my guide to writing. This is one I recorded. I don't think I'm going to change it because it's sort of an evergreen subject. My preferences in terms of writing haven't changed much lately, I'll say, and so I think I probably have maybe more or less beard or more or less hair. I think this one's a year old, so go ahead and watch that one. It's again, like I say, it's kind of evergreen. The more contemporaneous subjects like weekly agendas, I will work hard to create brand new screencast for. Okay, we have our semester-long calendar that I know many of you have already looked at. I can tell over here that some of you are already looking at, or you're looking at it right now. All the links to every week's agenda. Can you tell us my first screencast of the semester are available on here? That's very labor intensive for me, but I feel like students get some benefit out of it, so I don't mind. So check it out, print it out, put all the due dates, put them in your phone, or put them in your phone, or put them on your wall calendar, your desk calendar. I want you to be able to see all the due dates coming. Okay, important message for me. I want you to get used to using your Stark State email, and I want you to not, at least for my class, get used to using Blackboard's messaging system to contact me. It's just there's still some kinks in that system that have not been ironed out, and I don't want any urgent message that you have for me to get lost in the shuffle. I check my Blackboard messages for sure, but sometimes my replies don't get checked. They don't arrive in the places they're supposed to. Like I said, it's still just a little bit buggy, a little bit wonky. So your best method of contacting me is to send me an email. steveedgehouse@gmail.com. It's by far my preference, but I of course check my work email as well. My work email is through Microsoft Outlook, and everything else we do in this class is through Google. Believe it or not, Microsoft and Google don't like when you go back and forth between their softwares, and so they make one kind of difficult to work for the other. If you've ever tried to, open up, or you better get print a Google Doc while using Internet Explorer. First of all, why are you ever using Internet Explorer? But if you have, you have to convert it to a PDF, and then you have to download that PDF, and then you have to open the PDF, and then you can print it. And printing PDFs through Windows is also pretty difficult as is. So why go through all that hassle? If you have a Gmail account, which is what your school account is, your Stark State email is Gmail. My Stark State email is Outlook. I don't know why. That's how it is. So I created a Gmail account that you can contact me with. That would be my preference for contacting me. My preference is not for you to use Blackboard. All right. Feel free to take breaks as you're doing this. I will let you know. You can go to another tab and listen to me if you want, but I will let you know when important stuff is coming up. Set up and share your Google Drive folder with me. I used to have to do a lot of song and dance work to sell students on the importance of having a Google Drive account, because it's all that connectivity, and it's got a really easy user interface, and the sharing and editing and feedback, it's all expedited in very nice ways that don't involve attachments and downloading and flash drives. But I don't have to do that singing and dancing anymore, because my guess is that most of you are better at Google Drive than I am, and I'm sort of paid to be good at Google Drive. So that's my expectation. If that's not the case, if you need a tutorial, you need sort of spot work, you want help with specific areas of navigating or setting up Google Drive folders, please contact me, send me an email, and I'll be happy to, we can have a Skype session where you can share your screen and I'll walk you through what you're doing. We'll figure it out, but it's my assumption that you're all on board with how to share Google Drive folders with me. And just a cursory look at my email, I can see, look how many of you are sharing your Google Drive folders with me already. So right on, and class doesn't even start for another couple days as I record this. Okay, again, take a break. We're about halfway through if you need to. Item 7 here is our first sort of written work. Now, Essay 1 is meant to be posted once you're finished to this hopefully blank spreadsheet. So your name, your school, and your link to Essay 1. Although I think you're all the same school this semester. Those numbers have not come back to me yet, though, so I will leave that up there. So let's talk a little bit about Assignment 1. I'm going to let you read it on your own. It's the timed essay. This is worth 10% of your grade, and I want to basically hand that 10% over to you as easily as I can, because let me go big screen here. We can have a sort of a deeper, more philosophical conversation about what is my job here. My job is to help you create a writing process that you can depend on in other rhetorical and writing situations. Sometimes there is a timed component to writing, but for the most part, you can't embrace a writing process in a truncated fashion, that is to say, within a timed period. I'm required to assign this assignment, and I do think there is some value in it, but at the same time, I like to do it right off the top of at the top of the class first, during the first week, so that a couple of things can happen. We can get it out of the way, so we can focus on the more process-oriented essays. That's what we'll be focusing on the rest of the semester. The other aspect is it's like a diagnostic. If you have a car, if you've been in a car that has the check engine light that comes on, I've been in many of those cars myself, especially as a younger man, you take it to either a mechanic or you could take it to Advanced Auto Parts. And what do? They have that, they plug in a little instrument in, where your spark plugs usually are. And then this little diagnostic unit machine will spit out what's wrong with the car. How is it operating, more or less? Not wrong. It gives you a diagnostic view of what's going on under the hood. And so I like to use this first essay as a diagnostic tool. I like to see sort of what's going on under your writerly hood, so to speak. I am the king of the terrible metaphor. So the assignment itself is not groundbreaking in any way. You're basically going to write about yourself. Okay, you can read all this. A story from your personal life, a story from your academic life, from your cultural life, your technological life, and then the rest of your story. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you spend a paragraph on each of these, you'll be in good shape. But I want to see what your writing crutches are. I want to see where your strengths lie, where maybe your areas in need of improvement are. And so I also do this just sort of under the umbrella of the first timed essay. So don't reach for words you don't know the meaning for. Don't try to construct sentences where you get lost in them. Write it from a real, write it from an authentic place. Wherever you're at as a writer, I can help you. Okay? Let's see. Help us get to know you. So I already did mine, my personal bio here. I just did a Google slide. If you want to create like an online presentation, like a video about yourself, I'm always interested in those options. I also don't want to overwhelm you, so let me scooch this over. But you can see that I have mine, my name, my contact info. I'm a runner, my kids, more family. So just a little bit about myself. You know how it is in these online settings. Getting to know people can be a little artificial in nature, and I don't know if I've really cracked that nut just yet, in terms of like creating like a sort of sincere form of warmth, but I'm trying. And one of the ways to do that is to make everybody put a couple of pictures of themselves and some of their interests up there. So the first couple of weeks, every time I grade something of yours, I'm going to go back to the presentation that you put on that slide, that spreadsheet, and consult it. That'll help me. I'll be able to sort of put a face to a name a little better, and only good things happen when we make a more human connection, I think. You're going to hear plenty from me, and you're all going to get a good sense of where I come from with things, but it's a little tougher for me to diversify my understandings of each and every one of you. I don't want to think of you as this sort of a blob of a class. I like to get much more granular and get to know you as people as well. I think that helps me it helps me connect to you, yes, but also makes your writing richer and more varied if I can sort of interact with those parts of you that you're passionate about. Okay, let's see. A couple more minutes to go, I promise. Read the Composition of Everyday Life. I do not teach very heavily from the textbook. I have been at this quite some time, teaching classes like this. And so I'm pretty confident in my teaching materials, but it's a crackerjack textbook. It's really good. And I fully expect you to read the chapters that I assign. I don't assign many of them, but how do we get started writing? We're going to have our first process essay next week. And how do we write with our own distinct voices? So if you go back up to this here, my guide to writing, this is pretty much an unofficial guide to developing a voice that should make a lot of sense once you read these 19 pages in the textbook as well. Okay, what else? As we wind down here, you will be working in APA format this semester. If you've done nothing but MLA, I feel you. That was me up until a couple of years ago. But times have changed, and MLA is definitely taking a backseat to APA in terms of what you work with within your major and basically what gets done in graduate school and upper level graduate studies. So we have to set you down a successful path. And so if you are learning your way around APA this semester, that's fine. That's no problem here. I will definitely be able to help you along the way as well. There are plenty of very easily accessible Google Docs templates out there. There are websites that will help you with citations that we'll talk about when we get to the research project. There will be plenty of opportunities for you to learn and grow. I'm not expecting you to be APA perfect today. What I am expecting you to do is to make your peace with the fact that you will be writing and publishing in APA in this class this semester. So what else can you do this very busy first week? Look around Blackboard. I know you've had to do the orientation. If you have any questions, I put the calendar dates in there. We do discussion boards in Blackboard, and I definitely send announcements out through Blackboard. So we use Blackboard as much as I sort of care to, I guess. The rest I'd rather work within Google Docs a little more. I'm always curious in terms of what your feedback is how Blackboard is on your end. I know how it is on my end, but if you ever want to shoot me a text or an email about how things go, how things are going for you with Blackboard, I'm certainly interested. You have lots of help at the help desk as well. And so I'm just, as one of your advisors, as your CCP professor, I'm also your Stark State advisor. So one of the things I have to do is make you aware of the help desk. Okay, I'll have a lot more to say next week about SA2, but if you want to get a sneak peek, never, ever, ever a bad idea to get a head start. See what's ahead in week 2, and with SA2, it's never too soon to start brainstorming. So, and I'll try to wrap up every screencast like this. I want your questions. I want your feedback. If there's anything I can do to help you maximize your chances of success in this class, I would like to do that. Yes, I talked this fast, and I'm surprised I didn't swear it also. Lucky you, at least this week. All right, take care. Thank you.